Okay, so should you invest a couple $100 in a 1980s Rockwell 14-inch bandsaw? That is a decision that you'll need to make. Now, this one here is been or has been refurbished by myself. So I tore it all down, fluffed and buffed all the pieces, the little bits and whatnot, and did a little homeowners. You might be able to see my paint job showing up there. I don't know if that's shadow or the paint job. Now, see, oh, it looks better that way. I did this for myself, so I did not do a full, sandblast and, an auto repair paint job on this. I just simply did the whole Krylon cans of paint, and I matched them up pretty good. You go to Lowe's, you can match these colors up pretty well. I gave that a gloss finish for the stand. I did do the wire wheel and all the rust and primed it. You don't have to prime it with these paints. The spray paints nowadays are pretty damn good. And, I did a matte finish on the body of the cast iron. This here was done by an automotive, bumper repair kit, or that blackening stuff. I'll actually put a link to that. I did a gloss finish on that. And then, you spend a couple hours or a few hours on your tops, your cast iron tops with a little DW40 and a flat or random orbital sander. That's kind of it. Now, I've got $400 put into this now. Now, when you do get these, you should try to get them complete, right? This one came with the light, which is pretty cool. And it also came with the fence and the fence setup. I tore apart the fence. I fluffed and buffed the fence. Works really well. And of course, this fence is going to come way out in the middle into the room. And, that's going to be, a rib breaker. You're going to bump into that thing. So I left it off for now, but I ripped a couple of pieces with this. With that fence, and I got to tell you, pretty dang effective. I'm very happy with it. Now, a couple of the upgrades, standard upgrades, are these Urathane tires, and you'll see that. I'll leave you a link to this. Now, you can buy the wrong ones. Make sure if you're on Amazon that it references Delta. If it sees Grizzly and Jet, don't buy them. You're going to buy the wrong ones. Cool blocks, you've seen these probably. I'll put a link to that. Not a lot of upgrades on this. I did not go the resaw, expansion filler kit on this. I did not. I wanted to make sure what I had was going to work, and I also already bought a new blade, so I'm like, oh crap, let's just go with it. Now, paint. Look at that paint, right? Looks pretty damn good. That's aluminum paint. Yeah, so the other thing is the bearing kit. You get to buy a ball bearing kit from Amazon, and it comes with all 5 bearings. There's 2 in this one. Fair warning on this upper wheel. There's 2 separated by some sear clips in there, so don't go smashing this way, trying to force out the back bearing. Fair warning on that. Don't you'll bend your clips. I did it, so just you may have to pull these out if you can. So that was a challenge with that wheel. So the bearing kit, yeah, and this is part of that's a new bearing there, upper and lower, and then the bottom, you get another bearing, actually a bearing on this side, on the shaft side, okay? Now, is that all there is to it? No. Those are some of the basic low-cost upgrades that you can do. Here's the big one, right there. All right, now this saw, and from what I gathered from a lot of videos and the guys out there and the great videos, this saw comes with a 1/2 horse motor. What you're looking at is a 2 horse motor. Yeah, it looks like a beast, right? Because it is. Now, the reason I went with this is because it fit. And it was probably about $80 cheaper when I started looking around. Cheaper than what? Well, this setup that I've done from a video that I'll attach to this video with one of the guys. He's awesome. He figured all out. He figured out the ratios to, when you upgrade a bandsaw and how to make that work. And what it is it's the pulleys. There's a smaller pulley there and a larger pulley here that just fits under the cover, okay? And you'll see it once you watch that video. Why is this significant? Because the moment you add power you need to slow down the blade. If you just went with your stock pulleys from a 1/2 horse motor, I'm pretty sure this thing would be spinning out of control too fast, making this a very dangerous setup. So that's why you need to dial back the speed. So there's two things going on. There's power, and then there's speed of the blade. Good to have the power, not so good to match, right, the speed. So it's got to be pulled back. And I didn't do all this. I used the guy's videos, and I used exactly what he recommended. But yeah, his setup was for an 1 3/4 horse, and I got a little crazy and went with the 2 horse. But guess what? It worked. So cheaper motor and this fit. I'm going to tell you, the 1 3/4 horse was a beast. It came way out beyond, it come out to here. It's just very big motor. This is a 2 horse, which is actually taller and just more, and that's why it fit. And I did not have to go messing around with the, the stock slots, motor mount slots on the stand. I did not want to go that route. So I really wasn't sure if this was going to work. And I will tell you guys that it has worked. So all in, $200 for the upgrades. You will pay probably about $130 for the riser block kit, which would be eventual for me. I'll definitely do that. But again, I already bought a blade, and I wanted to see if it was going to work before I invested into the riser. And guess what? It does work. Yeah, so I'll fire it up. Now, a couple of things. This bottom hits this and rattles like a son of a gun. If it does in yours, add a couple of shims there, meaning a couple of washers to this little post, and you lose the rattle. I just did it. It's amazing. It's so much quieter. And also, if you get a little play, because it's really tight inside here, I just added 2 washers to these screw heads that lifted this up a little bit because my belt started loosening up a little bit and it started hitting that. And that fixed that. Okay, so there you go. There, let's fire it up. I keep this little, of course, this fits all these little block adjustments. Okay, so you want to keep that handy. Here we go. I'm going to start it up. Yeah, that sounds pretty great, right? Now it's got a little wobble in it. It's got a little bit of wobble this way, but I think I'm going to live with that. The straight cuts were fine, so I was pretty happy with the way. Whoa, 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 whoa! Holy crap! Look where my holy shit! My little. Oh my God! This thing's waiting to see if it was going to fling across the room. All right, safety warning there. That brought that Allen wrench right into the blade. That was weird. All right. So anyway, again, should you invest in this and break it all down and invest your time? Well, if you look at a 14-inch bandsaw like this, brand new, I think you might agree that it's worth doing this. Now, I will say sometimes you go out on Marketplace or Craigslist and somebody gave away a Grizzly 14 for like $200, and this thing was like brand new. I'm like, wow, that was a good deal. I would have grabbed that. But this was the satisfaction alone of tearing this down and then putting it back together and making it look new, well, newish, right? You might agree that looks pretty damn good. It's very satisfying. Now, I would also say that when you do break your saw down like this, you become a lot more intimate with your tool, if that sounds okay to you. But what I mean is, you'll know when it's running good and when it's not running good, because now you know all the parts. Because this setup here was pretty straightforward, the upper. Now the lower guide gets a little bit more, intricate, but once you spend a little time with it, you'll get a good understanding and do your best to catalog or keep all the bits together. Don't do what I did. I broke it down, and then 2 months later, I went back to it. So I was scratching my head a little bit here and there. I'll also put a link to the original manual that I got for like 17 bucks. I thought it was a good investment, and you know, it'll run with the saw. What I'm going to do is add I'm going to add a shelf down there, and I think on the bottom of that shelf, I'm going to add something heavy, like I might build in some bricks to keep the weight down on this, to maybe even help some of the vibration. I haven't tried the whole nickel trick and the water trick, but again, it seems to be running pretty smoothly. I'm going to find it. It's nice and quiet. I got rid of the rattle. Yeah. So guys, for me, $400 investment and an additional $130 for the riser. I'm not going to have any problem doing the resawing with the 2-horse motor. I really feel that's going to be the case. And yeah, I hope you get some value out of this video. And I would encourage you to go for it if you get one of these. Like I said, try to get them complete and not, you know, rusted out completely. You will spend a good amount of time, you know, fluffing and buffing. Hope it helps. Thanks.